Welcome to the New Bedford Half Marathon. Alongside is Dr. Larry Finity, Ahmed Pereira. It'll be our pleasure to bring you the call of today's race. It's going to be an exciting road race as always. Larry, this started back in 1978. It's hard to believe it has grown to over 1,400 runners this year.
Yes, I mean, to get 1,400 runners now after the pandemic is just incredible. People have come back here because they know they're treated well here.
Now, you talked about it, there's some of the top runners on here, but there are some very good runners in this field.
We have three men and three women who finished very high up in the rankings in Houston half marathon, and they have bypassed New York City, which is on the same day today, in Manhattan to come to New Bedford.
Let's talk a little bit about the weather conditions here. It's around 30 degrees as they get ready to run. With the wind chill, brings it down to about 25 or so. Gusts of up to 20 miles an hour. How does that play in effect in this race?
It plays, unless you've got a big wall in front of you, this is a tough day, especially down by the beaches, because the northwest wind will push you down Rockdale Avenue. So it's not much of a factor there, but as you head out from the starting line, you get it in your face for quite a while.
All right, more of the race coming up right here.
Joe Cabral and Jim Dandino here. Today we'll be on the men's truck. It's the 2023 New Bedford Half Marathon, of course. Jim, as we do every year, we talk about some of the favorites as we see them prior to today's race.
Yes, we have three favorites for the race right now. All run for the Hansons running group out of Rochester, Michigan. Those three favorites are J.P. Flavin. He's an NC State graduate with a personal best of 105.44. Wilkerson Given, he's a Furman University graduate with a personal best of 102.50. And Jack Mastandria, he's a University of Charleston graduate with a 104.32 half marathon best.
And Jim, as far as someone local here, we do have one name, at least at this point, someone to look out for, Eric Ash. He's a Massachusetts native.
Yeah, Eric's he's a college coach. He's run 103 for the half marathon. He may be a little past his prime, but something in the 106, 107 range is probably what he's looking for, looking ahead to Boston in a month.
So just to clue our audience in, temperature right now, right around 32 degrees, and wind chill brings it down to about 22 or so about a minus 10 effect on the actual weather, the temperature. Of course, as we travel today, Jim, we go across the city of New Bedford, we go right along the ocean front. It's going to be extremely cold down the waterfront today.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I don't think the cold is necessarily the issue. It's more the wind. And the wind looks to be running east, so it might be a crosswind for the athletes, which it'll be a little bit of a challenge for sure.
And we see the flag here straight out as we prepare for the start of today's race.
Hello, welcome. Jim Marshall from the New Bedford Cable Network, and we are here right before the start of the race. And I'm with Tom Dudarian, of course. He is a longtime runner, track coach for the Greater Boston Track Club, documentary producer, author. The guy does it all, and he came back this year for a second year. Thanks for coming in. What a great day.
Oh, it's a delight to be here in New Bedford. First time I came here was back in the 70s, early 70s. And this, I think, might be the coldest day.
Right.
So the weather is a player today. And it's going to matter to the times and the tactics. You're going to find a lot of short runners hiding behind tall runners when they go into the wind, and then it switches around when the wind turns around.
Tom, you obviously as a coach and as a runner yourself, these races, every day is different when you're doing this course or a course. What are you expecting from some of the leaders today?
I'm expecting that they're going to be in a very tight bunch, protecting each other and themselves from the wind and maybe sharing the lead. Even though this is not a USATF championship race, it's going to have a championship field. People came regardless because New Bedford is so special. The course is closed. The streets are swept clean. Other towns don't do this good a job.
You were mentioning that to me. We talked earlier this week, and I thought it was fascinating because I really didn't think about it. I mean, I've run this race a number of times, but the closed course makes a difference for those who want to participate in a race.
yeah, you want to worry about the other competitors, yourself, the weather conditions. You don't want to be worried about that car coming in from the intersection if it's going to kill you. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You only want to die in a race metaphorically, not literally.
Right. All right, so that's a little bit of a preview. We'll be on the men's truck. Ethan Lopez is our videographer, so the three of us will be on the truck, and we will be covering this race for you after 11 o'clock at start time.
Hi, my name is Marissa Gill, and I'm with Bay State Physical Therapy, and we're here today at the New Bedford Half Marathon to work on runners. Usually after the run, do a nice cool down, recovery, stretch them out, do some soft tissue mobilization so they're not as sore the next couple days.
Hi, my name's Kristen. I'm running the New Bedford Half Marathon today, coming in from Burlington, Massachusetts. My dad grew up in New Bedford, so this is one of my favorite races to run. I've trained for a couple months now, so I'm ready to take it today.
Hi, my name's Sean Goldstein from the town of Lakeville, and I'm running my first half marathon. I'm actually training for the Boston Marathon.
My name's Doreen Aruda. I'm running from New Bedford, Massachusetts. My number is 24, and I've been training since October, and I'm so excited.
My name is Grace Huber. I'm from Fairhaven, Massachusetts. It's my first half. I'm running it for myself, and I'm super excited.
Yay! My name is Alyssa Beard. I'm an American Ninja Warrior. I live right here in New Bedford, and it's been a while since I've done a half marathon. So today my goal is really to get that sub 2 hours. I've been wanting that goal for a long time, so let's go get it.
Hi, Tyler Borges from Swansea, Mass. This is Aiden Borges from Swansea, Mass. This is his brother Owen Borges from Swansea, Mass. He doesn't want to be on camera. This is the first time we're ever doing this. This is probably our first and last time, but very excited this morning. A little colder than I expected, but we're here to have a good race.
Good morning, Paul Oliveira, Chief of Police in New Bedford here. We're at the start line of the New Bedford Half Marathon. It's a little brisk down here today, to say the least, but obviously the runners are showing up in strong numbers. And obviously New Bedford Police are here providing top-notch security. And we're also fortunate today to have a number of the surrounding communities here to assist. So we expect a fun, brisk, safe day for all involved. So good luck to all the runners. Thank you.
The city did their finest time. They laid out the course. It's beautiful. Everyone's out there supporting you. Understand that the people here are all volunteers, and everyone's excited, but we couldn't do this without you. So thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back after the pandemic. Thank you for staying with us, and we all hope that you have a wonderful race today on behalf of the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick and the New Bedford Half Marathon Race Committee. Thank you very much.
And now, my distinct honor to welcome His Honor, the Mayor of New Bedford, John Mitchell.
All right, I have a couple of things I want to say to you guys, and I'm going to make it quick because I know what the temperature is right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming on out and competing and participating, and in some cases, raising money for really important causes. And I know a number of you are right now, for especially the firefighters who are generating some money for some really needy folks. I want to also thank a whole lot of people, Dan McCarthy, Bruce Oliveira, and all the Friendly Sons, all the volunteers for stepping forward with great enthusiasm and with a ton of hard work, not just today, not just this weekend, but all year long. Guys, you make it happen. The city's so grateful for it. Last thing I just want to say is thank you for being here today. Thank you for being part of a tremendous tradition in our great city. I hope you have an opportunity afterward to get out, to check out what's going on in New Bedford, all the shops, all the restaurants. Stay a little while, spend a little bit of money, but most of all, have a good time and tell 2 friends. Good luck today. We'll see you out on the course.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. The 2023 edition of the Bedford Half Marathon is now going to make a very special dedication to one of its beloved members.
Last month, the New Bedford Half Marathon, the Greater New Bedford Track Club, and the entire New Bedford running community lost a dear friend with the passing of Leo Rodela. Leo was a longtime president of the Greater New Bedford Track Club, and as such rallied runners in this part of the Commonwealth
to come together and support charitable causes that benefit those less fortunate. He was the heart and soul of this running community. His annual Jingle Bell Run from the YMCA up and around Buttonwood Park and his summertime Leo Scoot around the airport were just two examples. His kindness and leadership skills were remarkable, and the results benefited the local Media's Families Fund and the Special Olympics, among many others. At this moment, please pause for a brief moment of silence in memory of Leo Rodela. Thank you, and as Leo would often say, we know the destination today. Let's enjoy the journey. Best of luck to all the runners.
And now it's my distinct honor to introduce a couple of outstanding young women who represent the New Bedford area. Please welcome Miss New Bedford Outstanding Teen, Jamie St. Ange. And now I ask you all to please remove your hats. If you're sitting and able to stand, please stand as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. And please welcome our national anthem singer, Miss New Bedford, Tori Kalis.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Tori Kalis. Let's get everyone up to the start line.
Away. We'll do all our okras and all that fun stuff in a little while.
And let's ask the mayor to give the countdown and sound the horn to start the Great American Road Race, the New Bedford Half Marathon. All right, runners, are you ready? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The start of another great New Bedford Marathon has begun here on this beautiful Sunday morning.
as they get closer to us here just at the start of today's race. Jim, let's see if we can pick out any of the leaders here early on.
Well, what I noticed is actually last year's defending champion is a post-entry into our race, Matthew McDonald. So Matt has run 2:09 for the marathon. He was last year's winner here. So Matt McDonald of the Boston Athletic Association, the post-entrant here, and he is now our favorite.
Yeah, so Matt McDonald, we saw him last year, Jim, as you mentioned, and basically he led that race from start to finish.
Yes, he did. He just took it right out, and he was never challenged from the get-go.
So another name to be looking for here this afternoon, or early morning, late morning, I should say, and then into the early afternoon hours. Matt McDonald, along with the favorites that we had mentioned earlier, J.P. Flavin, Wilkerson, Given, and Jack Mastandra.
Well, joining us now is the mayor of the city of New Bedford. That's John Mitchell. And Mayor Mitchell, well, you counted it down. You got the runners off. Life is good.
Yeah, I'm really grateful I was able to count accurately down from 10 to 1. That's I found myself searching with my index finger for the start button. I was able to find it, so everybody got off in time. It's going to be a little bit breezy. It's going to be a bad hair day on the peninsula this morning, Ed, as you might imagine. It's breezy here down at the beach, just a tad bit more so, but everybody's having fun.
Well, being follically challenged like I am, I don't worry about that breeze all that often.
Well, look, your hair looks good, Ed. So don't.
I did it for you.
Thank you. Just so you had your hair done for today.
Well, I always do that just for you when I'm interviewing the mayor here. We get to interview him last week too in front of the Friendly Sons dinner. Now it's been a long week, a great St. Patrick's Day weekend here in the city of New Bedford, and a big day today, not just for the tourism aspect of it, but just for the city of New Bedford, putting our best foot forward.
Yeah, the tourism part of it is important, of course. We have a lot of people out here, many from outside the area, who are going to go out and spend money in our shops and restaurants, and we always encourage that, right? But more fundamentally, this is an occasion that brings people back together, people from Greater New Bedford, from across Greater New Bedford, and from other places. And here we are 3 years from the marathon that we had to cancel because of the pandemic. And over the last couple of years, the pandemic's been slowly receding, but we still need these occasions to get together after social distancing for so long. So that's, to my mind, that's the most important thing. This causes people to gather in a big way and to connect, and nowadays we need that more than anything.
We certainly do. We thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today. There's no truth to the rumor that he and I are going to run the last quarter mile together. No, that's not going to happen. Maybe the last 5 steps we could jog.
Backwards in heels like Ginger Rogers,
yeah.
Right?
There you go. You said it, I didn't. Back with more in a moment right here on New Bedford Cable.
Again, front of the pack, Matt McDonald, J.P. Flavin, and Wilkerson Given as we continue to make our way through the early part of today's race along Purchase Street. Joe Cabral and Jim Dandino with you.
Yeah, it looks like they went through the mile in about 4:56, which would translate to a 1:04 high half marathon. So very conservative. That's why you see a relatively big group. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the lead group right now. Again, McDonald's doing all the work here with J.P. Flavin, and they're really just kind of feeling each other out at this point. I mean, no one's really pressing the pace. Usually, we're in a group like this, they know it's going to be windy, so I think once we get out onto 3.5, 4 miles, when they have a little bit of a tailwind, you'll see it string out a little bit.
Joining us right now is the race director. That's Dan McCarthy from the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick's. And Dan, over 1,400 runners today. You got to be pleased.
Very happy, very happy. We're coming back strong from COVID, and so happy that everybody decided to come and run with us in New Bedford. It's a beautiful day. It's a little windy, but I think we're going to have some wonderful times today.
And of course, with the wind, it's always interesting when they do that down the south end, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. But if it wasn't a challenge, it wouldn't be worth it.
That's very true. And real quick, I always like it at the finish line. You always make sure you say thank you for being with us when they come across the finish line. Very unique.
Well, we really do appreciate them being here, and we want them to come back. We want to make sure they had a good time, and no better way to do it than tell them thank you as they cross the finish line.
Dan, thank you again. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you for being here, Ed.
All right, thank you. Back with more in a moment.
Following the men here as they make their way again through the initial phase of the 2023 New Bedford Half Marathon. Joe Cabral and Jim Dandino with you. We're getting ready, or getting closer to our turn up onto Hathaway Road, and we're virtually at our second mile marker, Jim, and what do you see so far?
Yeah, the pace is very conservative due to the wind. JP Flavin and Matt McDonald are the ones right up front here. We got Eric Ash and Wilkerson Given just sitting right behind them, but the pace is very conservative. You can see the wind, really in their face right now as we approach the 2 mile mark. I think the next mile will also be conservative, and once we get into like the 4th and 5th miles, the wind will be at their back, so you'll see the pace increase quite a bit, and you'll see it string out. But right now, it's just a very conservative pace right now.
Yeah, wind really in their face, as you mentioned, Jim. And you could see JP Flavin there actually put his head down for a little bit there just as the wind was really whipping into his face. And it has affected the runners here early on. And only a small group now really together here, leaders here early in the race. I count 6 runners.
Yeah, there's 6 of them right now. I mean, that was a very conservative 5:08 mile. We're going to go up a little bit of a hill before we have the Hathaway Hill, but you can see them kind of like shortening their stride, putting their head down, and kind of using their arms a little bit going up this hill.
You mentioned the stride, so when it's windy and certainly when you're going uphill, you have to change your stride.
Yes, absolutely. You shorten your stride, you go to your arms a little bit more, especially when it's windy, and then when the wind's at your back, you'll see the stride open up. You'll see them relax their arms a little bit in a race like this. So you'll see that probably around the 5-6 mile mark. Put their arms down, but their stride will really increase. But right now, they're really working hard due to this wind. We are past the 2 mile mark here in the women's race. Jim Marshall, Tom Dedarian in the women's truck here, the lead women's truck. And we have, like I said, we are just past the 2 mile mark now, a little bit over 13 minutes into the race. Tom, who are we looking at? Do we know right now at this point?
That the leader is Kedan Kiernan from Connecticut. I don't know her. This is interesting. Kidane, Kidane from New Haven, Connecticut. That may be a Yale person.
Yeah. You were saying so we're going to the series of hills now. The 2 mile mark marks a series of 3 hills that you start the race with, each incline a little bigger. We're on the second hill now. As you were saying, they come around this corner. They're going right into the wind right now.
Yeah, the whole complexion of this race will change very soon. when the wind is behind them, they will no longer be in little bunches protecting each other from the wind. They'll just be spread out across the road.
What so as the leaders go, what is the strategy right now as you look at her right now? Obviously, it's 2 miles in, but what is she thinking right now? What are the leaders thinking?
Well, I don't know if she knows that the rest of them are right behind her, and I don't know if the rest of them have their eyes on her. I kind of think they do see her, and they will be trying to reel her in, and it'd be interesting to see what her background is, if she has run as fast as some of the others behind her who've run marathons around 2:30, which is quite formidable. I'll see what I can find out about this leader at the moment.
Right. So at this point, too, this race is, as we said, 2 miles in. We're coming up, we're going down the hill, the second hill, and then we're going to go up the big hill on Hathaway Road, which is a tough part of the race. It's the one of the steeper inclines, but it's a tough part of the race here for all the participants right now. The wind is going right in their faces, and we're ready to go here.
Back looking at the men's leaders here as we make our way up Hathaway Road, the hill getting much steeper here, Jim, and we noticed that Joshua Kalapos, who finished third last year, is in this early leader group.
Yeah, now we're down to a pack of 4. Eric Ash has fallen back a little bit. We passed 3 miles in 15 minutes and 15 seconds, but Matt McDonald, JP Flavin, Wilkerson Given, and Joshua Kalapos are the 4 athletes remaining in the lead pack.
And this part of the hill is fairly steep.
Yeah, this is probably the steepest hill in the entire race. So you'll see them go to their arms, shorten their stride a little bit, and they'll be looking forward to making the left turn, and then they'll have a tailwind for about 4 miles. So they're really looking forward to that right now.
Welcome back to more coverage here of the New Bedford Half Marathon, started back in 1978. A person that is no longer with us, though, and someone you talked about today, we really want to talk about here today, and that's Leo Rodela. And let's just talk a little bit about that. A gentleman with the New Bedford Track Club, and Larry, you certainly know a lot about this guy.
Leo was a longtime president of the Greater New Bedford Track Club, even though every year that he was elected, we demanded a recount, but he got over that. Great guy. He was the owner of the Leo Cycle Mart in the north end of New Bedford. He was really the heart and soul of the running community in New Bedford. He took the individual runners, put them in a group, and just impressed upon them how much more powerful they are as a group to raise money for charitable organizations. And he had the Jingle Bell Run every year at the New Bedford YMCA up around Buttonwood Park and back. You got pledges for that and turned it in. He also had Leo and Steven Scoot around the airport, which raised money for Special Olympics. Just a great guy, and someone who most of the runners who were in the race today are aware of Leo passing last month.
Right, and a very nice tribute to Leo before the race here, done by my partner here, and it was great to see. And certainly Leo is one of those guys that will be missed on this Greater New Bedford Half Marathon scene.
Back on the men's truck, and we're looking at the leader, Matt McDonald. He won last year's race, and he's setting the pace here early on as we approach Buttonwood Park and the 5th mile marker in this race. Matt McDonald last mile was right around 4:55, Jim, right? And now continuing on that type of pace. What does that really translate to as far as how fast a runner is running?
Matt's running at a speed right now of about 12.1 to 12.2 miles an hour, going down this hill. Conservatively, when they run the first couple of miles, they were more in the 12 mile an hour range, 11.9 when they're running, 505 per mile. So he's putting in a good effort right now, 12.2 miles an hour right now. He's probably running under, he's probably running about 445 a mile right now. And he's increased his lead to 50 to 75 yards, I would say, right now as we approach the 5 mile mark. Yeah, so Matt just ran a 441 mile to pass the 5 mile mark. And Matt's run a marathon in 2 hours, 9 minutes and 49 seconds. That was done at the Chicago Marathon last October. And he was 10th in the Olympic trials back in 2020. So he's looking forward to a berth on the Olympic team next February, which will be in Orlando, Florida. So that's really Matt's next big goal.
Matt McDonald in the lead. Let's go over to Jim Marshall and the women's truck.
As we make our way past McCoy Stadium in New Bedford on Rockdale Ave for the 2023 New Bedford Half Marathon, Jim Marshall and Tom Dedarian in the women's truck. There's still a group of 3 runners chasing Cadane, who has been the leader ever since the 2 mile mark, but the women, the pack of 4 have been right by her side, and they seem to have settled into a pretty good groove right now as you're going downhill.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 5-woman race at the moment. Cadane is only a little bit ahead of them. So that is, at this point in the race, functionally, they're all in the lead.
On the men's truck, and it's Matt McDonald with a huge lead at this point. You can barely see the next group in the background. That's the type of lead that Matt McDonald has at this point. He was the winner here last year at the New Bedford Half Marathon, and here in 2023, he's really setting the pace.
Yeah, a little different strategy this year with the wind. It was much warmer last year, probably 15, 20 degrees warmer, so, and not as windy. So he just waited, bided his time until he got to the top of Hathaway Road. And once he was able to turn onto Rockdale, that's when he made a surge and gradually has pulled away. But he's probably got about a 30-second lead, I would imagine, right now on JP Flavin, Wilkerson Given, and Joshua Kalapos.
And we're coming through Buttonwood Park right now. This is always a great place, fan-wise. Tom, you've done a number of races, and as you coach runners, how much of a factor are the fans when you're running?
Oh, the fans are a delight. They just sort of drive you along. It's important to feel like you are important, and what you're doing matters. And it's hard and it's painful. Here we have a change now. Christian is taking the lead at the moment.
And it's a little after 5 miles where she has made her move. Megan has made her move, and they're kind of even now, but she's making a move. Remember, the top 3 runners do get prize money for this race. So getting on the podium's not a bad thing either.
That move was quite sudden, but Cadane is responding to it. So it's being covered, and the other runners are not coming back on it.
Oh, I got the best job of the day right now, and that's interviewing Miss New Bedford, Tori Kalis. And Tori, good to see you again.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
You know, you did a fine job with the national anthem, as always.
Thank you so much.
And how has it been being Miss New Bedford so far this year?
It's been incredible. Just events like this, seeing the whole community come together is a beautiful sight. And people from all over the place are coming to New Bedford for this event. Being here again, so a few years ago, I was Miss New Bedford's teen. So now being here as Miss New Bedford and being back to sing the anthem is so cool and so exciting. And I've just been having the time of my life.
You're not going to come back as like Miss New Bedford Senior Citizen or something, are you?
If that becomes a thing, I will be back.
Okay. All right, well, that seems fair enough. If I'm interviewing you at that time, I'll be in my wheelchair and go,
Perfect.
You are? Yeah. I have no idea what I'm doing. They'll say, did you have a good time? I'll say, yes, I did. I think that's what they told me anyway. Before we let you go, what's the next big event on your list of things to do?
Ooh, I don't know the next big one. I have so many things coming up that I'm really excited for. Honestly, just everything that I can do in the community and in New Bedford and just be as active as possible is my goal. I don't know necessarily the next biggest thing, but just things like this. Like I said, seeing everyone come together is my favorite thing to do.
And we got more coming up in just a moment, right here on New Bedford Cable.
We are approaching the 7-mile mark, and Matt McDonald continuing to be well out in front for the men.
Yeah, he just ran that 7th mile in 4:35, which is downhill with a little bit of the wind at his back, but you can see him really starting to press, and really working hard here. He's certainly looking for that effort he had last year leading into the Boston Marathon. He ran great at Boston last year, running 2 hours and 10 minutes, so I'm not sure if he has the same fitness as last year, but he's certainly working hard towards having a good time today in the 104:30 range or so.
6-mile mark, and we are a little the women leaders a little under 34 minutes, I should say, right now. So the pace has kind of slowed because the wind has certainly been a factor here, but the two leaders right now look really good. And the gap between the top two women and the pack of three that were behind, that were with them, has significantly grown here over the past mile.
Yeah, the guys running in this pack with the women, I know them, and they've run 2:30 marathons, so they're quite good.
And the one thing that you said, Tom, even though you're not familiar there, you said Kadane looks good.
She looks very good and smooth and young, too.
Age is wonderful, Tom.
Yeah, well, this may be her coming onto the national stage as a long-distance runner.
And we're coming up to the water stop, which ultimately leads to the 8-mile mark right now for this race as we hit the water stop here as well. I tell you what, they've been running with the same pack of guys too.
Here's a sign. Megan Kirchen just tossed off her gloves. Maybe soon the fight is going to get serious now.
Well, it's interesting to see how different participants dress in this race. You got some wearing pants, some wearing tank tops, and as you were saying to me before the race, I mean, those that are running fast generate heat pretty quick.
Yeah, they're working hard, and they're nice and warm, and they're sweating, and we in this truck are not.
Megan has made a move right here. It looks like she's got her biggest gap right now between Cadan and Cadane that she's had through this whole race. Not that Cadan is that far behind, but there is now a little bit of a gap. It's not one step anymore.
Yeah, she's made her move. She took off her gloves, pushed the pace, and then put her gloves back on. I think she's gonna just try to relax for a little while.
And the other thing, Tommy, you pointed out moments ago, we don't see the other three women at all anymore.
They're completely out of sight. I think, well, we can see about a half mile behind them, and they're not visible.
But it's Megan right now is taking a little bit of a lead. Cadan is still with her, but when you look at a gap like that, it's a pretty good gap.
Yeah, this may well be decisive.
When you think about it, Tom, this is really, we're coming up to the toughest part of the race. You've got East Beach, and then you've got the hill at County Street. I mean, this is a tough part of the race.
Yeah, we're today at the beach, but it's not a day at the beach. Yeah, this is a raw wind, and yeah, some top runners have turned into big wins. Favorites at Boston have been felled by the cruel east wind off the ocean, so that could happen today.
As we prepare to make the turn from Cove Street to County Street, and of course now here along County Street, a relatively short distance before we start to make the turn home.
Yeah, that's right. He's really looking forward to getting to that finish line right now for sure. And he smoked this last year at this part of the course. He ran under 4:45 a mile for the last 2 miles last year. Let's see what he can do today. I think with all the buildings and the houses, I think it'll block the wind for him a little bit, but it's still going to be, I don't think he's going to be able to ride quite as fast as he did last year in better conditions.
Cadane, by the way, has fallen behind. I don't see her, and I don't know if Ethan sees her in his viewfinder, but she has certainly dropped off the pace here now, and it's a one-woman race right now, and she's looking good. Ethan's saying she's farther back, but still in his viewfinder. So, and again, we lost track of the other 3 women that were in that group of 4, and Megan was in them earlier in the race. So. All right, we passed the 11-mile mark. We're getting soon to make the trek here on the county street, one of the toughest part of the race. Megan Kircher is still in the lead.
No one will catch her, and I think she's got a good chance at a terrific time here.
And last year, again, his time, Jim?
104.17 last year. He's gonna, beat that time from last year, and he'll be just see how close he's gonna get to 104 today. So that's 13 miles. So he's just gonna be just over 104. It looks like now with this wind. So.
For Matt McDonald, Cambridge. Unofficially, it looks like 104.11.
Well, we have our men's winner, and no surprise here. Matt McDonald from Cambridge comes in again, back-to-back years.
6 seconds faster than last year, and this is a much more difficult day. Absolutely tremendous.
And our second runner's coming in now. Let's go check on that right at this moment. But once again, Matt McDonald, our winner.
Our top runners just steps away from the finish line. JP Clayman, Rochester Hills.
14:06.
And rounding up our top three from the Boston Athletic Association, Joshua Columbus from Somerville.
We're checking here for who's coming in here as the fourth place finisher.
Yeah, this is Wilkerson Given. He's a Birmingham, Alabama native, went to Furman University. He runs for Hanson's as well. He's a professional runner. He's run a 2:11:44 marathon, has a 1:02:50 half marathon best.
Wrapping it up here from the 2023 New Bedford Half Marathon from the men's side. An exciting race here today, even though Matt McDonald finished well ahead of the second place finisher J.P. Flavin. In third place today, it was Joshua Kalapos. But the story again, Jim, was Matt McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely. He just took the race over right at the top of the hill, and you could just see him put in the surge. He just took off from there, and the others just couldn't respond to that kind of a move. And 104.11 on a day like today is a great tune-up for Boston for sure.
Yeah, even 6 seconds better than he ran last year, and with the wind and with the cold, just a tremendous performance here from Matt McDonald. Again, we saw J.P. Flavin finish second, the 24-year-old runner out of NC State, and he had a half marathon best of 105.44 previous to this, so he set a new personal best.
Yeah, good day for him for sure. He really ran smart. Ran in that group for a bit with Joshua and his teammate Wilkerson, and then kind of took off from them for the last couple of miles. So a real solid effort for him as well. I mean, they've been training in Boston for a couple of weeks now. The Hansons group, and training on those hills really paid dividends today for sure.
And then locally, fine performance again today from the 34-year-old Eric Ash.
Yeah, a solid performance from him. Just over 107 today for Eric, so a good tune-up for him as well. I mean, he's got a 103 best, but he's not in his prime. But 107 on a day like today, where he ran most of the race by himself, that's quite an effort. So kudos to him.
So another outstanding New Bedford half marathon here in 2023 with the winner on the men's side, once again, Matt McDonald.
Tom, we spent an hour or so together here, and it's been a good race. And I'll tell you what, a clinic put on in that last 5-minute miles by our winner. She did a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, it was dominant. She gave a clinic on how to run a half marathon. It was awesome. But early on, I thought she had some serious competition, but she just put them away.
The interesting, Cadane finishing fifth right now is the pack of three, as you said, did catch, and Jesse, and I forget her last name, Jesse ended up finishing second.
Jesse Carden second, came from way back. She may be regretting she just didn't go with the leader from the start. I think it portends great things for her in the near future.
Well, I certainly appreciate you for joining us today. Your perspective is always great. Hopefully we'll do this again next year. And again, thank you so much for joining New Bedford Cable Network here in our coverage, our annual coverage of this race. Ethan, thank you to you for your work on the truck. As I said, it was a very good day for us, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it on the women's truck. And we will go back, and thanks very much for joining us.
This is always a fun event. Last year, I missed it for the first time. I did not run. I just happened to catch COVID at the Friendly Sons event the night before, but not this year. So here I am. I'm back at it, I'm joined today, pleased to be joined today by members of the City Council, Scott Lima from Ward 5, Derek Baptiste from Ward 4, at-large Councilor Shane Burgo, and Ward 6 Councilor Ryan Pereira. Thank you for being here, guys. This is, I'll just say a couple things. I know you guys are, the runners are cooling down, probably faster than you want to right now, so I'll get right to it. I'm mindful of you want to not stiffen up, but and like knowing, suspecting what your workout's like, you may be like out there in like a few minutes running again. So I don't want to deprive you of that workout opportunity. But a couple of things I just want to say. So first, just a hearty thanks to everybody who worked so hard to put this together. Chris Donnelly from the Friendly Sons, along with Dan McCarthy and the entire club, really do a fabulous job every year organizing runners. I consistently give us all together, the Royal We, high marks for the quality of the race and the enthusiasm. I hope you got a sense of that today, despite the
the breezy conditions. But it's a great event, and it's especially important now. It's been 3 years since we canceled the event. Right, it was that first week of the pandemic, and I remember it was a very hard decision at the time, because I thought, like everybody else at the time, pandemics had been relegated to the history books. And sure enough, we had one, and we had to make some big decisions. And this was for me, one of the first big decisions we had to make, which was to cancel this great race. But it's back now, and so. It's back. It's great to see everybody out there. It's a festive environment, but more particularly, it's wonderful to see people reconnecting after so much time not connecting. So that we're really grateful for that opportunity. Grateful to the runners for making it a great race. And I want to thank also all the city employees who worked very hard to support the Friendly Sons, and all the volunteers. We have a lot of police officers out there. We're kind of short-staffed, like many urban police departments these days, and so lots of police officers had to come in and pull overtime, pull detail shifts, and that's we're really grateful for them for doing that, as well as all the other city employees who stepped up. So it's, to my mind, this is the fun stuff. So let's get right to it. I'm noticing, so I have to say off the bat, so three of the six women's, collectively women's and men's finishers, top finishers, are from, you guys from Rochester or Rochester Hills? It says Rochester Hills?
Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Yeah. Mayor Barnett's a good friend of mine. Yeah. We gotta take a picture. I'll text it to him after this. Well, welcome to New Bedford. I've got a few jokes about him. Anyway, I'll get right to it. I mean, I'll tell him just how much you guys dominated our race, and you guys. He sent a bunch of ringers to New Bedford to place so well. So anyway, well, let's get right to it. So we'll start with the top women's finishers, and then we'll go to the top men's finishers in ascending order. So we'll start off with third place in the women's category, and that's Anne Marie Blaney of Rochester Hills, Michigan.
You could keep it as a token. It's priceless, but very good.
Nice job. Great job. All right, so second place, again, Rochester Hills. I don't know what you guys do. So everybody knows, who's the most famous, don't answer if you're from Rochester Hills, but who's the most famous person to hail from Rochester Hills? Rochester Hills High School, class of, like, you guys know, like 1979 or so. Anybody?
Adams High School.
Oh, it's Adams High School. Okay, so the other high school.
I know.
You know the answer. All right, she goes by one name. It's Madonna, right? Madonna's from Rochester Hills, right? So anywho, fun fact, guys. Who thought you'd come here and learn such things, right? All right, so anyway, again, another Rochester Hills native, Jessie Carden, who came in second place at the time of 1:13:15. Jessie.
wait a minute. No, you are. Yeah. It says Rochester Hills, so that's incorrect. Oh, you moved out there.
Yeah, right from here.
Okay.
I'm right here, please.
Oh.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now the winner of the women's category in a time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 43 seconds, the women's winner of the 44th running of the New Bedford Half Marathon is Megan Krifchen of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Megan.
Thank you.
Awesome job. All right, so yeah, it's that's a fast time. All right, so we'll go to the men's category, and we'll start off with third place and a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 46 seconds. Third place this year in the men's category was Joshua. Correct me if I pronounce it, if I don't pronounce it right. Joshua Kalapos of Somerville, Massachusetts. Congratulations.
Hey, one more. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job. Joshua Kalapos. Nice work. Nice work. All right, second place. That's all right. Josh, we can get you a new one. All right, so second place, again, showing the dominance of this race by our friends from Michigan. Madonna would be proud, guys. She really was. Is J.P. Flavin of Rochester Hills, Michigan, coming in at 105.31. All right, and now the winner. So with a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 12 seconds, which is not too far off the record, right? That's pretty close, isn't it, Chris?
Mr. Smith's record, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that far off. And who's been up here before, somebody we know and respect, and has made an impact here in New Bedford before, and that is Matt McDonald, Cambridge, Massachusetts, the winner of the 44th New Bedford Marathon. Well done, Matt.
And still champion.
Still champion.
Thank you.
Well done. So look, if you're watching the NCAA tournament this week, and you noted that last year's champion, Kansas, fell yesterday, right? This didn't happen to Matt, right? He back to back to repeat champion. So listen, guys. I just wanted to say thanks, and just a job well done. You guys competed really hard out there and have a lot to be proud of. We're very proud of this race and what it does for the city, and bringing people out and just having a great old time. So I think we're going to do like a group photo. And by the way, we'll give you some swag from the Port of New Bedford. So all you folks in Rochester Hills, go back and tell your mayor New Bedford still is the #1 fishing port in the United States. So go back and bring those hats. Well, maybe we'll send an extra one for him. But I think we'll take some pictures. We'll take a group photo. What do you think, Bob? Yep. We'll do that for the counselors and everybody.
Well, the second one's twice as much fun. 2 in a row for Matt McDonald. Quite an impressive day here for him, isn't it?
Sure was. He really earned this. He had nobody in front of him. He had to work all the way through the wind and did a great job.
We talk about that win, Larry, and that was probably the biggest topic of discussion today, wasn't it?
It usually is, but this year was more harsh than ever. It's a northwest wind, and it pushed you down Rockdale Avenue, but when you turned on South Rodney French and came back into the wind, it stood you straight up.
And then we talk about things on the ladies' side. Megan Christian, a woman who, well, another Cambridge finisher.
Yeah, there's something in the water up there. I don't know what it is, but they did very well today.
They certainly did. More and more of the runners coming through right now, and as the race continues. We are just about done with our coverage for today. We appreciate you being with us. Larry, as always, Larry Finity, always a pleasure to have you here.
Always great to work with you, Ed. Thank you.
And I'm Ed Pereira, and we thank all of our folks that are out there on the race course today, everybody working behind the camera, and we thank you for joining us for the 2023 New Bedford Half Marathon.